This is the second lesson in this little course of Ruby. You can follow all the lessons in order by going to the playlist, which you'll find under the video. Now in this lesson I'm going to be talking about variables. Variables are just identifiers. Here I enter one called name and I use the assignment operator to assign a value. I'm going to assign a string to it. So there I've got the variable name and I've assigned it the value of the string Fred, and I can display this value by displaying the variable value here. I'm using Visual Studio Code as my editor here. You can use whatever editor you like. It's convenient for me because I can have this integrated console down here instead of running it from the system prompt, but it's the same effect. So I just run this. Ruby is the Ruby interpreter. Name of the program is string test.rb, and it shows me the value of that variable is Fred. Now in Ruby I can go on and then I can assign other values to that variable. Name, same variable, equals Mary, and put that string. Now in Ruby I can also assign different data types to the same variable. So I can put name equals 100. So previously that variable was assigned a string. Now I'm assigning it an integer, and again run it down here. And so name equals Fred, a string, then name equals Mary, another string, and finally it equals 100, which is an integer. Now in Ruby you can do that because Ruby infers the data type. Instead of typing the variable explicitly, I haven't told Ruby that name has got to be a string data type. You can just write the identifier of the variable, then assign it a value, and Ruby infers what the data type is. So it sees here it's a string. Okay, so name is a string. Here it's an integer. Okay, I'll change name into an integer. Of course, you can't do that in many other programming languages, but it's quite normal in Ruby to do that. Now, incidentally, Ruby is a case-sensitive language. So if I enter name with a different case of the letters, so here it's this, if I say it, it's still called name, but in fact the second letter, the second character is a capital A instead of a lowercase a. Well, now Ruby treats that as a different variable, and I can test that down here, entering the variable name with the second letter as a capital, and run it again down here, and you can see it prints 100. That's the value of name with a lower case a, and then it prints Judy, which is the name of the value of the variable with the uppercase A. Two different variables. They may look similar. As far as Ruby is concerned, they're completely different variables. There's another thing I can do in Ruby. Instead of doing all these putses just with plain variables, I can use a string. So I can put you entered, and then hash, pair of curly brackets, and let's see, I'll put the variable with the uppercase A, so that has been assigned Judy, and when I run it, again down here, and it says finally you entered Judy. So I've put the variable name in curly brackets preceded by this hash character, and it's evaluated that name and shown me the value that's been assigned to it, which is the string variable Judy. Now there are two types of string in Ruby, two essential types that you have to know about: those that are delimited with single quote characters and those that are delimited with double quote characters. They work in different ways in Ruby, and you need to understand how they work in different ways and how to use them in your own code, and that's going to be the subject of the next lesson in this series. This little course of Ruby is based on my book, The Little Book of Ruby, which is available from Amazon, and you can download the source code for free from bitwisebooks.com.